What? A tower on a floating island with claymans? Welcome to our second video in the tower defense series, where we talk about the system that make a good tower defense game. In this episode we will discuss what makes a great tower building system. But we are not stopping there. We will explain some of the few things we have come up with to make our game a little different. So buckle up, cause it's gonna be an interesting ride. Every tower defense game has towers. Yes, I know it's so basic, I shouldn't even have to say it. But we have to start somewhere. These towers are usually placed by the player into the level, so naturally this movement should be controlled, cause we don't want it to break the game. There are usually predetermined places where you can place these towers. And these places are a really great way of designing the level, so that the player has to rethink their strategy every other level. And don't forget the money system either. Nothing comes cheap, not even the towers. The player has to pay for every placement, every upgrade, etc. So we need a system to place the towers, a system for paying for them, and not much else. So how do they work? The money system is the easy one. We have just made a singleton class that keeps up with the money. You can pay and get rewards, and it all centers around this class. So every time we want to build something, we check the money in the bank, and if we got the goods, then we just pay and build our castle, or in this case a simple tower. And what about the rest? First, we have to create a system that shows all the towers we have access to. The script that is responsible for this is the building type select UI. Every tower or special thing you can use in the game can be found here. The tools are coming from different places, but this script collects them all and uses them to show in the UI. These buttons keep up with the money and the prices, so you can't even select them if you don't have the balance in your card. But if you do, then after selection, the winners gets to be built. We have a virtual mouse, so we just swap some sprites and some graphics and voila! The selected tower looks like... it looks really ghosty? So after the selection, we are showing the user ghost versions of the tower. This is just a representation of what they would look like if we decide to build them. Every tower has these ghosts, and unlike the real ghosts, these can come to life. When the player moves the mouse, these ghosts start to search for placements. There are placements on the floating islands, so the user moves the cursor to them. When they start to get near them, they instantly cling to the closest one. If you click now, the tower will be built there. And everything will be set for the waves and the enemies. Is it all? Not quite. We don't just have towers, we have walls and other buildable things too. They are working in different ways, so these buttons need to be generalized. But one button is a vital addition to our tower defense system. The small little clayman button is the one I'm talking about. In our system, the towers don't build themselves. They are built by claymen. These men wander around the islands and keep up the good work, so if the island has at least one clayman on it, the tower will be built. So the user has to create one of these men, but there is a limit too. There can only be 5 claymen at one level. In time this number will grow, but in the early days of the game it is really limiting. And there are other ways these claymans are needed too. The tower loses health every time they fire, so the claymen have to heal them every time. But sometimes this isn't enough, and the towers fully break from the usage. And in this case, the claymen have to rebuild them completely, just like before. So the player can't leave a tower by himself, he has to have 1 or 2 clayman companions to stay alive. But there is a bonus too. If there are at least 3 claymen on the island, all the towers connected to the island will have resilience against usage hurt. So they can fire as many bullets as they want and not lose any health. This claimant system makes our game a little unique. In a dangerous situations, you have to really manage your claimants, but with time you can get to great heights with them too. And that's it, that was the introduction to our tower building system. Tell us what you want to know about next, but until then, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.